Greetings to all the wonderful participants who have joined in, and to our dear friend, Jairam Rajshekhar, who is going to take today's session. On behalf of Summa Audit Systems and Softwares Private Limited, I'm welcoming all of you to today's session, which is on intelligent audit with CaseWare IDEA 12. CaseWare IDEA 12 has been recently launched, and advanced analytics apps, because there are a lot of pre-built analytic apps either in the Passport or in Idea Lab, which will be later on, as they become more mature, moved to Passport so that all users can use. But users of Idea can use these apps whether they are in Idea Lab or whether they are in the Passport. So slowly more and more apps are being added, which will make life very easy for the auditor or the finance professional or the forensic professional who's using Idea. And as a flagship product, flagship solution, which is being offered by Summa Audit to its users in the country, I think it's a very popular solution which is being used. So we have a critical mass. We have a Google group of more than 800, 900 people who are there on the Google group, where posts are regularly sent out in terms of small teachings, small case studies to do, in Idea what's new. So today, specifically, we have got a session by Jairam, who is a master trainer, who has trained people across the continent and even abroad. I think I don't have a count of the number of workshops he would have conducted on Idea. So he's hundreds of workshops literally in the last 15 years on at all levels, from the managing director downwards, from the top auditor downwards to the auditor in the field, across industries, across sectors. So I think he's got a full basket of knowledge which is available, along with his other team members, Saurabh and Prasad Sapilde and other Abhijit Apte and others who are there in the company. So, it's like a full basket of knowledge. And today we would like to share, he would, through Jairam, we would like to share with all of you how to carry out intelligent audit with CaseWare IDEA 12. Specifically 12, what are the new features? What is new in Idea 12? What was new in Idea 11.2? Touching upon that, because extremely good features being added, which are really helpful to the internal auditor, external auditor, finance departments, anybody who uses, outsourced. We have a lot of call centers or, knowledge processing centers which are using Idea for duplicate check or for, payment processing, payroll processing, etc. So, I would not like to waste a lot of time on this. Good evening to everybody, I said earlier, and good morning to our dear friend Brian Element, who has joined from Canada. So, Brian is also a master trainer and, of course, right at the very top in using Idea. So I think, thank you for joining, and to everybody, thanks a lot. And Jairam, it's all yours, please.
Thank you, Deepji sir. So, good evening to everyone who signed in from India, and a good morning to all our partners and all our principals who've joined in from overseas. This is a very exciting session because we're going to get to look at what's new in Idea 12 and intelligent analytics through Idea 12. What I've done in the session today is I'm going to cover some key slides on Idea 12. And by popular demand, I understand from many of the participants who've signed on that there is a lot of interest and uptick in the Smart Analyzer FinApp. So I wanted to keep at least 10 minutes to actually demonstrate the Smart Analyzer FinApp to all of you all, and then keep around 10 minutes at the end for question and answers, and end up by about 8 o'clock. So about 10 days back, Idea 12 was launched globally and in India. And I understand that there are many Idea 11 users who've already migrated to Idea 12 within India and the neighboring regions. So what are the exciting features, benefits, deliverables which CaseWare has brought in to Idea 12? And there are lots, and I plan to cover many of them in my session. So just a bit of a premise about Idea 12. the evolution of IDEA, because we've all as a team in SAMA used IDEA from as way back as IDEA 2000. And if we see how IDEA has evolved, it's evolved to keep pace with the growing skill sets of an internal auditor, a controller, an accountant, an investigator. So IDEA continues to be the go-to preferred tool for progressive teams and teams which are looking to maximize the efficiency and effectiveness of their engagement deliverables. Now, what IDEA 12 offers is a brand new intuitive interface, right? They've retained the powerful workhorse analytics from IDEA 11, 10, and 9. But what they've also done is added novel advanced analytics, seamless integrations with the accounting apps, very interesting enhancements where we can deliver very flexible, quick-footed insights in our data-driven auditing. Now, what this premise translates into, we will see in the next few slides. But the takeaway from this slide for me as an IDEA 12 user is they are clearly calling out teams which want to progress and achieve efficiency and effectiveness with the help of IDEA. And I'd like to give you a very small example at this stage. We had put this post on the Google group also. You may have heard about moonlighting. So it's not a soap opera, it's not a movie, it's not a book, but it's a very interesting fraud where during the pandemic, when employees were working from home, there was a trend where employees would engage with multiple employers. So because there was very little physical monitoring and more of virtual monitoring, some very innovative employees found ways to work for multiple employees. And I believe one of the analytics done, they noticed that certain employees were working for 5 and 6 employers at the same time. And how they got to know that is they ran a simple duplicate check where they identified the same employee PAN, that's the income tax number, or the employee identification number like the Aadhaar number, the national identity number, being linked to multiple provident fund accounts, or an employee getting multiple Form 16s in a particular accounting period. Now, this kind of really innovative thinking can only come out of a very progressive team. And we are very proud to say that IDEA is able to deliver results in this department. So when we talk about efficiency and effectiveness, it's not only about getting the work done very quickly, friends, it's also about coming out with some innovative analytics which are never before seen, like this moonlighting fraud, which has been very interestingly discovered. I think there was another fraud of double dipping. Now, what is double dipping? They found out in certain states in India. This again was posted on the Google group about 8 months back, where certain teachers in primary schools in a particular state, I would not like to name the state, they were working in a particular primary school, but they were getting their teacher salaries from multiple schools in that district. So that's double dipping. And that again was detected by the Ministry of Education, where they used like a duplicate command and they identified the same teacher mobile number, the teacher income tax number appearing in multiple schools. So this is the power of the tool, where not only private internal auditors, private entity internal auditors, but even the government, progressive teams within the government are leveraging the tool. So let's move ahead, and I'm going to share many more interesting anecdotes like this and use cases as we go ahead. Now, a quick title chart on what's new in IDEA 12. As we saw on the premise chart, IDEA 12 is all about delivering insights, right? Now, I was actually trying to find out this word insight. It's beautiful, because the English language dictionary talks about insights in a very specific manner, where it talks about bringing to light certain hidden messages within a context. So if you look at your data, there are hidden trends and patterns and outliers and anomalies which are waiting to be discovered. As they say, you torture the data enough, it will reveal everything. So insights are all about bringing those hidden uh, patterns, outliers to the surface, where very smart auditors, accountants, investigators, controllers can pick up on what's going on and come out, take action on it, engage in better decision making. Now, what do we have in IDEA 12? We basically have a new look, a new feel, a new experience. And I'm going to be opening up IDEA 12 and showing it to you, so you find it very interesting. They've not done away. So the toolbars, you have the data toolbar, the analytics toolbar, the home toolbar. What they've done is they've continued to keep the functionalities under the respective toolbars for the sake of convenience and habit. So for people who use 11 and 10, you know exactly where you're going to find a duplicate, where you're going to find a summarization. But they've kind of enhanced the resolution. They've added in new shortcut keys. They've added in new icons for the commands. So it's got a really nice lively look and feel, just like how 11 had. Now another nice thing they've done is what they call the power of hybrid. Now what is that? We all hear about hybrid vehicles, which are like dual fuel, petrol, diesel, and electric, or petrol, diesel, and CNG. Hybrid in IDEA 12 is, if you want to access certain web content, it could be guidance notes, it could be scripts, it could be custom functions, it could be Python scripts, right? Content, it could be import components. Earlier on, you would click on passport, it would open up a browser, you would be outside IDEA, and you would be locating content in a browser outside IDEA. Now what they've done is they've enabled a browser within IDEA. So whether it's something as simple as downloading an upgrade to your version, or it's about locating a user guide, a template, maybe a white paper on how to identify the right data set to use in your audits, getting in a custom function, all of that can be done within IDEA itself. So you don't need to go to a separate browser outside. It's all available within IDEA. So the good thing is there is a quick lookup available within IDEA, and it's very secure, it's very powerful, it's very fast. The other very interesting feature is smart actions. Now, this is something which I found as my favorite, and I will also be demonstrating it to you. What smart actions does is it allows you to fast track your fraud investigations. So now I'll give you an example. If you have a master database where you have certain suspect vendors, in that database, you just click on smart actions and it will immediately give you information on that vendor directly on the internet. So it will tell you who's the vendor, what's the composition, what's the ownership, what's the line of business, where are they located. All of that is available. It's pretty much like a very high-tech CSI kind of a scene where you are getting all the information at the click of a button. So you don't need to pick up the phone, call Just Dial and say, I need information on this vendor. Everything's available through smart actions. They've also added in a very powerful component on working paper integrations. So now you can directly, right? This is very important. You can bring data analytics done in IDEA and you can move it directly to CaseWare working papers for better reporting and collaboration. The working papers plugin, the working papers component is available within IDEA. So it's not a standalone tool where you first export it to Excel, PDF, PPT, then you manually go and upload it to working papers. It's all seamlessly done through the working papers integration tool. Another nice feature, and this is a demand which came from many users who work routinely with large databases running into millions of line items, a quick summarization. So I'll give you a simple example. We were recently doing a project for a very large NBFC, and I remember the data was around 250 million line items. Now that's a very large file. And I remember we wanted to look at the number of loans linked to a particular customer ID, right? Because what we knew as a rule is for that particular product category, there cannot be more than maybe 2 loans for a particular product category against a customer ID. And I remember the only way to get the count of loans is you do a summarization, which is what we all do. Now, I remember in version 11 using the summarization, and I have a 16 GB RAM and an i7 processor. And I remember the summarization took about half an hour to 45 minutes to complete. Now, the quick summarization meets the requirement of getting the same results in like 4x times. The throughput is faster. So you can get a summary very, very quickly on 100% of the data. So if you are interested in getting results right away and you don't want to wait for 45 minutes to an hour, you can do that through a quick summarization. So that's a very new feature they've added in. They've added in a lot of new Python capabilities. So Python scripts can be deployed through IDEA. And again, you don't need to go outside into Passport in a web browser. You can deploy it through IDEA itself. You can automate a lot of tasks. I remember my colleague Saurabh, who's also online, he was doing a very interesting activity for a broking company recently where they had close to 100 notepad files. And each notepad file had a unique file name. Now, what his requirement was, he wanted to import the files all at one go, append them together. But when you append 100 stock exchange files together, what typically happens is the identity of each of those files disappear. You don't know to which date or to which customer ID or to which broker it's pertaining. So you can import the files through the import multiple file script, get all the files in, and then append them using the merge command at one go. But then you lose the identity of the file because you do not know what the file pertains to. So we both learned something new, that there is a very interesting script where you run the script and you run it on all the 100 files at one go, and the name of the file gets captured as a field within the file. So the file has a name, file A, file B, file C, and when you run it on 100 files, when you append it, you will know exactly, oh, this file is from file A, because there's a new column which gets added, file A, file B, file C, file D. And I think these are wonderful capabilities which allow you to not only explore new dimensions in IDEA, but they make our work very, very easy. So now let me look at some specifics on each of these points. What are the advantages of the new look and experience? Let's talk about that. So they use a smart iconology. That's something which I found very interesting. A streamlined menu, simplified naming conventions, and I'm very happy to tell you that what CaseWare has done over the years is, in an industry where analytic tools tend to come with a sense that okay, I'm an internal auditor. Am I going to be able to use like a specialized analytic tool when I've been using Excel all my life? What CaseWare has given to each one of us is the ability to use tools like IDEA. IDEA has almost become like a home product. It's become so easy, so native to use, so seamless because of its new look and experience. And they aim to enhance that experience for all of us with version 12 of IDEA. So what are the advantages we have from a new look and experience? We are able to improve our productivity. Why? Because we are able to find options easily because of smart iconology. We're able to find functionalities easily. It gives you all a better analytic experience, right? So if you are going to struggle with using an analytic tool, you'll say, I might as well go back and use Excel. But that's not the case with CaseWare IDEA 12. You're able to accelerate fraud prevention and early detection. So something which I've spoken about in earlier webinars, friends, where we would like to do 360-degree risk profiling. That's something which Smart Actions allows us to do, where you can pick up the address of the vendor. So I remember we were doing this investigation for vendor management, and we noticed that there were multiple vendors registered to the same suit or the same address. And these vendors were suspect vendors. Why? Because they all were registered as one-time vendors, and they've all been given advance payments. They all were made payments without a purchase order. In some of the cases, the purchase order was after the payment was made to the vendor. Now, I remember when we identified these 4 vendors in that particular investigation, we had to go outside and we had to physically go and visit the premises and check that does that vendor actually exist there. There was a lot of tedious effort. There was a lot of manual effort involved, calling up just dial, taking a lot of manual activity. But now with smart actions, it's all at the tip of your fingertips. You get it at the click of your button. And finally, time and money savings. That's a very big advantage in terms of the new look and feel of using the tool. Now, the power of hybrid. As I mentioned to you, I love the second bullet point. Say goodbye to the need of switching from an external browser to IDEA, IDEA to the external browser. It's all available within IDEA. There's a single sign on, right? So you just open IDEA, and the moment you click on passport, you sign on once and you have access to the entire knowledge ware of CaseWare IDEA 12. It protects your user access. It streamlines your user access. It protects your identity. It's very safe. It's very secure. And because it's within IDEA, the advantage is many companies we've noticed block passport because they say we do not want you to have access to a certain sites. Now, those users have been denied the benefit of using passport on an external browser. But thankfully now with IDEA, it's all within IDEA. So for those users, this has been a very big value add. So web resources like the IDEA Lab, which has advanced analytic prototypes, passport, all of these are available through the power of hybrid. And how this has happened is they've been able to successfully integrate it with the Microsoft WebView 2. So this is, again, a feature, a benefit to enhance your analytic experience. Also, with the power of hybrid, you can stay focused on doing your audits. You don't get disturbed by going to the browser. See, it happens to me. When I visit a browser, I open my mail and I get lost in the mail. I forget I was working on an analytic job. You focus on your analytics. It's time-based, it's time-bound, everything within IDEA. You don't get disturbed and you go to your browser and check mails or check anything else. You're confident about data security because you're accessing it within IDEA. There will be no security concerns. You can finish your audits and engagements faster. And because it's compatible with Windows, thanks to the WebView auto updates, you are able to access it very, very easily. So this is something which I will be showing you in some time. Built-in smart actions. What kind of smart actions can we access? We get Google search, Google Maps, translate facilities. Now, what are translate functionalities? For members who work with foreign language databases, this is a very big advantage. Now, imagine you have like something in maybe French. You copy it, go to Google Translator in the web browser, paste, wait for it to update, get the result. All of that is done away with. You can get this all within through smart actions itself. And the benefit here is you're not restricted to looking at one vendor at a time. If I have 5 suspect vendors, I can select all of them and say smart actions, Google search, and it will give me information on all the 5 vendors through a Google page. So again, it saves time because you don't need to do it one vendor at a time. So why is smart actions critical for us? Because it reinforces the legitimacy of your exceptions. Anything which is verified on the public domain is irrefutable, right? You're able to perform faster investigations and it aids in smarter risk management, right? So for all of us online who are working extensively in fraud investigations, this is going to be our go-to feature. We talked about strong working paper integrations, friends. You are able to send content from IDEA to working papers. It could be PDF files, all at the click of a button. Improve documentation and reporting. You can collaborate with your colleagues. So what working papers allows you to do as a tool is the findings which come out of a single IDEA license can be shared with multiple users on working paper. So collaboration is possible. And finally, why are we doing this? We're doing this to strengthen our audit. If there's a peer review tomorrow, right, they want to know that do you have a seamless marriage between your analytic tool and your working papers tool? And this is what the working papers integration guarantees us. We talked about the quick summarization. I'm just picking up a bit of pace so I can spend some time on the demo on Smart Analyzer too. 4 times faster results. And I'll probably share certain experience of mine on the Google group in a few days. I'm going to be getting hold of a very large database, and I plan to use quick summarization on it. And I know how much time it took place in the regular summarization, and I want to use the quick summarization. And I believe it's going to be very, very fast. The advantage is you can focus on those high risk indicators when you do a quick summarization. So normally, summarization is used when you want to plan your audits. We were recently, to give you an example, doing an assignment for a central government ministry which handles grievances and complaints which come from different ministries. So the complaints could be as routine as, hey, you guys have not paid my pension for this month, or you've paid the wrong pension. Or it could be something that I filed an RTI application and no one is bothering replying to me. So these grievances which are filed are in very large databases. Imagine grievances at the central level in the Indian government for different ministries. It's massive. We were planning which ministries to target first. Now, what is the determining factor? Which ministries have the highest count of open grievances? Now, that's typical to the planning stage. Now, the only way I can very, very accurately identify those ministries, friends, is when I do a quick summarization. So imagine like a few million line items, and you do a quick summarization, and it immediately tells you, okay, there are 275 ministries. Of that, these 20 ministries have the highest number of open grievances. Imagine how it's going to aid your audit planning process. And it genuinely helped that internal audit team in that particular activity. So that's the benefit of quick summarization. Now, something which is a real darling of everyone using IDEA is Python. This is an area where I like to be very honest with you. This is an area where I need to enhance my skill set. Because when I think of Python, I definitely have a fear of snakes. So that's one fear which comes into my mind when I hear the word Python. But that's on a lighter note. But on a more serious note, Python, right? Python scripts, right? When you deploy them through IDEA, you can design your own Python scripts. You can deploy them through the equation editor. You have a wider range of plugins available now within IDEA. And what do these scripts do? These scripts automate your tasks. They help you perform continuous auditing. Very important, your dependency on external Python editors are reduced, because now you can build them through like a custom function within IDEA. And it reduces the chances of errors, because the decoding, the debugging in IDEA for a custom function or a Python script is very seamless and very easy. This is an area where the moment we get some videos on the public domain from CaseWare, we will publish it to the Google group so all of you can explore how Python capabilities can be further put to efficient use in IDEA 12. Some miscellaneous updates, friends, before I jump into the actual demo. They've added many new custom functions. You've got a feature where you can kind of auto adjust the width of multiple fields. You remember when you would import a file and click on field statistics, it would give you a message saying that statistics are not available. Do you want to generate the statistics? And then this is something which you would have to manually click on. Now this happens automatically. There are a lot of enhancements to time fields, and very important, you are able to move a lot of content between shared drives and local drives very easily post installation. So this is something which is a big advantage. Now, I am going to spend some time talking to you about and actually walking you through some of these very new novel features in IDEA 12. So let me open up IDEA 12, and I will also be taking up Smart Analyzer. So give me some time to open up IDEA. So that's IDEA 12. Okay. Now, let me just first of all, let me just import a file so we can actually look at what are the new features like smart actions and some other features in the tool. So I am going to be going into the data. So I'll bring in a file called sample. Okay. And maybe I can bring in the vendor master file. And I can also bring in a customer master file. So I need to see if this feature is available within the tool. So now something which is very nice in terms of smart actions is you have vendors here. Now, if I want to investigate a particular vendor, all I need to do is I just need to right click on the vendor. And you can actually see you already have an option filter by, but we can actually go to smart actions. And now in smart actions, you can actually either identify where is that vendor in Google Maps, Google Search, Google Translate. These are very interesting features. So let me see if I can get something on Nike. I'm going to go to Nike Smart Actions, Google Search, and you can see it's all seamless. It's integrated within IDEA. And you notice it doesn't open up an external browser. You get this screen here within IDEA where you can actually see a write-up, Nike Just Do It. So it's very interesting. Now, if you remember, you can also, I think, get multiple, you can also get details on multiple vendors. So let me try it with a couple of vendors. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Smart actions. So that's something I need to figure out. I'm still exploring the tool, but maybe let me just check it out, friends. Give me a minute. So it's working with a single. Give me a minute. Yeah, okay, so this is what it is. It's very interesting. You can actually select the vendor with the address and you can get smart actions on that particular vendor. So it's very, very interesting. So I can go to Nike with Phuket, right click, smart actions, and I can go to Google search. So you can just see this. It's very interesting. It shows me where Nike is in Phuket. So this is kind of information which is like very, very helpful. And this is the smart actions. You have Google Maps, you have Google search, you have Google Translator. Now, what they've also done, okay, this is very, very interesting, okay, is in addition to the smart search, you now can also, if I just were to go back to the presentation, give me a minute, please. The power of hybrid. That's right. So now what we mean by the power of hybrid is that you can access information of passport within IDEA. So if you see under the home tab in CaseWare, I click on passport and notice the passport app is opening within IDEA. So you don't need to go outside to an external browser. It's all available here. This is very nice. And you can actually log in here. So I can log in with my ID here. Okay. And once you log in, you have all the information available within IDEA itself. Now, why this is interesting is if you click on the menu option here, you can look at downloads. So these are the downloads. You can download the latest version. You can download import components. There are installation guides. There are patches. Now, if I like a particular custom function, I can go to IDEA custom functions. Now, let's say I want to pick up a particular custom function. Give me a minute. Let's say I like this function round up, okay? And this function is going to help me. So what I do is I click on round up and you can see the downloads begun. Now, what's nice is I already have this function. You know, earlier on, you had to download it manually, copy it and paste it in custom functions. You don't need to do all that now. If you go to the equation editor, you can see it's already available here. You can see it's already getting stored here. So this is a very big advantage within the software, that it's the moment you click on download, it automatically finds its way to custom functions. And what they've done is a lot of the custom functions are already available here for us to use. And needless to say, when you click on the function, you're also getting a write-up on what the function has to offer. So this is very, very interesting. So just like this, if I were to close this, okay, and click on passport once again, let me log in once again. And you have a lot of information. Something which I wanted to show to everyone, there are fabulous tech tips, there are blogs, there is the exceptional exception P-card app, right? I'm going to be talking about the smart analyzer in some time, but there's a lot of information here, and something which is very useful for new users, videos. Okay, this is something which all of you will like. There are lots of video tutorials available. Currently it's being updated, but it's going to be available in some time. You can also access passport outside and get those videos. So this is what we meant by hybrid action. So very, very interesting features within the tool. Quick summarization is something which I would like to show you. I'll probably post those results on the Google group in some time. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a couple of minutes and cover the Smart Analyzer FinApp, because I know that it's a very popular financial app which all of you are exploring and you all would like to use. So let me do one thing first. Let me import a general ledger, okay, into IDEA. Okay, so let me do that. Give me a minute. I have a general ledger with me somewhere around here. Yes, that's it. So let me import this general ledger into IDEA. Okay. Now, what the Smart Analyzer does is there are about 50 plus pre-built analytic tests for general ledger, accounts receivable, accounts payable, inventory, and fixed assets. So now there was by demand a lot of users who said, can you actually walk us through the Smart Analyzer to show us how it works? So what you do is you go to Smart Analyzer. You first get the file in. You get in your general ledger, you get in your vendor payments ledger, you get in your customer ledger, you get in your inventory file, you get in your payroll file. Now you go to management and you need to import the apps. So we click on import apps and I'm going to select the Smart Analyzer. Hang on. Let me make sure I am getting the right app. So that's the Smart Analyzer FinApp. I've selected it. It's basically a DPAC file. You can download that through Passport itself and you start the import process. So it's very simple. You basically go to Passport, select the DPAC file, click on import, and the import will take just a couple of minutes, not more than that. But once you get this in, you are opening your engagements to 50 plus ready to use analytics in general ledger, accounts payable, accounts receivable. It's very interesting. Now, there's something I want to show you at the end of this activity. One of the common challenges we face is when we use analytics and IDEA, the final reporting, it's not streamlined. Everyone has their own style of reporting. Everyone uses their own font, their own structure, their own risk implication, their own impact. Whereas with Smart Analyzer, your reporting is consistent. And I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to actually create an audit report in a Word file and show you how it looks based on certain findings we launch. So I have imported the app. Now we basically start the activity. You can see the app's already here. So I'm starting it. And what's nice is there's a very convenient workflow, friends, within Smart Analyzer, which guides us step by step on how to use Smart Analyzer. So it first talks about creating a data request where you send a request to your client, telling them that I want, for general ledger, I want the JV number, I want the JV date, I want the GL account number, I want the GL account name. So you tell them what fields you want. Now, once you get that, you basically have to tag the data. Okay, now that's something I want to do. I just want to tag the data. So we go to tagging. And it's so intelligent, it automatically recognizes you're working with the general ledger. So it says, okay. And now here, you can tag the fields in the general ledger. So basically, account description, I tag it to account description. This is the smart analyzer tag. This is the field name within my data. Account number to account number. Amount to amount. Then I have comment, description, which is like a narration. Then I have, let's say, let me scroll down, journal entry number, journal entry source code, posted by, okay, that's great. I have the user, posted by date. I have a date. So I have a couple of fields here, which I tag in the data. And the moment I tag it, this is a one-time process. You just basically save the activity. Okay. So I'm just saving the activity. And now you can pick and choose the test. So I'm demonstrating today only the general ledger based analytics, but going forward, you can do the same thing for accounts payable, accounts receivable. I just say select and run. So this opens up the select and run screen where I can choose the general ledger. And you can see, I mentioned there are like 50 plus tests which are available, of which there are close to, I think, let me see, a dozen plus tests for general ledger. And what are the tests? You can see journal entries posted on weekend, journal entries posted by users, missing journal entries, duplicate journal entries. So, you know, when you're doing a JV scrutiny, a lot of the low hanging fruit analytics are taken care of with this particular activity. Makes your work very easy. So I'm going to run a couple of analytics and show you the results. Okay, so let's say I take missing journal entries, I take duplicate journal entries, and maybe I take journal entries posted on weekends. So I'm just taking three simple activities. So I select them, I right click, and I say run all audit tests selected. So now you'll see those three tests which I've selected start running. Now you can either run all at one go, or you can run specific tests. And you can see my analytics, my exception reports are already getting generated here. I'm getting 801 journal entries on weekends. So this is like a very powerful pre-built analytics through Smart Analyzer FinApps. It not only allows you to free up your time to do the thinking activity, because a lot of the low hanging fruit analytics are done by the tool. It ensures consistent audit effort, consistent reporting. Now, what do we mean by reporting? How does that happen? So I'm going to close the screen and I go to results and reporting, friends. And here I can choose the three analytics I've run now. Okay. And I can say create a report. So what this does is it gives me a report. So I can say author, IA team, client name, sample client, okay, report title, JV scrutiny audit. So I can feed in this information, click on OK. And you can see this is the best part about the Smart Analyzer. Not only does it help you tag your input data seamlessly, it helps you run the analytics easily, and it helps you generate an audit report very easily. This is your audit report. Look at it. So JV scrutiny audit report, you're getting all the details created on. And now if you scroll down, you can see it's giving you a ready-made audit report. It's telling you what was your finding, what was the objective, who ran the test, when was it run. The findings come as an annexure. So it's an integrated report. You've got the observation at the top with the findings at the bottom. And you can see this is available for each of the objectives. So we first have journal entries posted on weekends, missing journal entries, and duplicate journal entries. And because it's a Word file, you can edit it. So this is something I wanted to take up towards the end, which is basically the Smart Analyzer FinApp. My plan, friends, was to talk about V12 through slides, show you some of the features in V12, and also cover Smart Analyzer FinApp. So I would be available now. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. DG sir is also with us, and I'll be happy now to take up any questions which you all have on today's webinar. So let me, DG sir, can I proceed with the questions, or would you?
Please. I think
Great.
that's it's nice to have the questions, and I think there's one that there's one Rajesh is asking. This is based on the last session also. Last session, we talked about web scraping tool. So he's asking, do we have web scraping tool available within IDEA 12? I don't think so, but I think you are the best judge. I know it's
not at the moment, Rajesh ji, but I believe, as Deepji sir mentioned in the inaugural also, that there are a lot of advancements happening in terms of utilities on the IDEA lab, and this is something which may be considered going forward, but it's definitely not there at the moment.
And Brian Element, he's just answered saying IDEA 12 included Python modules that allow for web scraping, namely Beautiful Soup 4. So you can use the Python module that allows for web scraping through in IDEA 12.
Right.
So that and that's called Beautiful Soup 4. So Rajesh, you said, and it is Brian made it.
That's interesting, and it's got a very interesting cuisine name also.
I think Rajesh, we can take this offline. Yeah. How do you use Beautiful Soup 4? I think we'll take that offline with you.
Yeah, Rajesh ji, we'll get the details from the team and get back to you. Sure. Yes, friends. Any other questions? Any thoughts?
I think there are no questions. Jairam, you spoke so nicely, so well, explained each feature. And I think IDEA 12 is a wonderful thing that has happened for IDEA. We can all say that, especially the Python scripts that will work within it. You don't have to go outside, as you rightly pointed out, for a browser. You can work within IDEA. A lot of developments, subtle developments, but very powerful. So I think more developments will come on the way. So I think with if there are no questions, let me close this session. Let me say thank you to you to making
a presentation. Thank you everyone who's online. Yeah.
I look forward to all of you to join us next Wednesday at 7 p.m. where we have Anil Bhandari, who is going to speak on a digital auditor of the future. So, I would just like to thank Jairam for the wonderful presentation, and to all of you participants for joining us and being with us today. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you everyone. Have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you.